Let's talk some defensive personnel.
Yeah. There's no way we're getting to Sam Monson. That interview is going to be standing alone this weekend on our YouTube page.
Maybe. Let's do it. Hit me with some. Let me see a 3-man front. Let's see a 3-4 defense right now. We're ready to run through a wall. Hell yeah. Who are these players, Bo?
Let's take a look at our 3-4 base. So you got the 2 defensive end and the nose up there. Carice Tunga up front, just a mammoth of a man, 338 pounds. Darius Robinson, Nick Rollis's new defensive toy. Darius Robinson, they're playing defensive end. And then Justin Jones, newly signed, and obviously can add to that rotation. How about Bilal Nichols? How about you got yourself some Dante Stills, LJ Collier maybe in there, maybe a Roy Lopez. So they finally have some names, some NFL caliber defensive line defenders that they can rotate in and out. And then you get to the outside linebacker, Johnny, as we start to kind of project this. This is, I think, what we would want people to emerge in training camp. And they're both their second year playing the position at the pro level. BJ Ojulari and then Zaven Collins to be your primary pass rushers with the rotation of Dennis Gardeck, Victor Dumakaji, and Xavier Thomas, who they added in the draft.
Yeah, and as people are saying, much better than last year. Joshua should just change his name to mid because he thinks everything is mid. I'll tell you what, Joshua, if this is mid, sign me up because mid is better than whatever they fielded last year, especially in their front 7. Mid means, hey, we're hovering right around 18 to 20. And that if the Cardinals get that, guess what? They're a playoff team. Melton's going to start, make no question about it. Sean Murphy-Bunting came here to start. Mac Wilson, let's see. Chris Barnes had a really nice year at the end of the year last year. Mac Wilson can also play special teams. That position's fluid, I would say, next to Kazir White. The defensive line is not, however, in terms of Justin Jones and Darius Robinson are going to, I think, log health permitting the most snaps of any 2 defensive tackles. Then, like you and I talked about pre-show, Bo, like Tonga is fine. He's a solid nose tackle. He played in Chicago with Justin Jones. They signed him externally. That's why I just think has a better ceiling than Lopez. But I don't know how much of this they'll run. I think they're going to want a lot of depth, or a lot of beef up front on early down. So I don't know if they're going to start games out like this. I think you could see, I don't know. There could be scenarios in which like BJ Ojulari is your only true edge rusher.
Really? I don't know. I mean, I think that this 5-man front here with the 3 on the D line and then your 2 outside backers right there at the pass rush spots. I think that's probably really feel like that's what they ran most of last year. Sometimes they would kick it down to 2. I think Darius Robinson, Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols could be those 2 defensive linemen. And like when you were talking about Tunga over Lopez, I think just Tunga's pure size to play the nose position fits a little bit better. But I think Lopez is going to be in the conversation. And then like the secondary, about the 2 safeties in Baker and Thompson. And then like Melton's in there. I think you also enter the equation Elijah Jones and Keitrell Clark still.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. On first down, when San Francisco and the Rams now with Blake Corum want to run the football, I think I want Nichols on the field. And I would ask, okay, you're not taking Darius Robinson off and you're not taking Justin Jones off. So like, how do you cook up then the best front that you possibly have? And maybe I'm being naive. People are arguing in the chat. Is it a 3-4 base? Is it a 4-3 base? Like, do you have the number? What did they run more last year? But I don't even know if we can go off of that because it was based off personnel. It wasn't based off of really what they wanted to run. So we will get a really good idea with a full deck of cards, no pun intended, what Gannon and Rollis intend to do. I don't even know if we ever saw the real Cardinal defense last year.
I think Darius Robinson is like a complete wild card too, where he's like, based on, he could either be like that 4-3 edge or a 3-4 edge. So it kind of just depends on the play, I feel like.
For sure.
I just didn't see a whole lot of 4-3. It could be a 4-2-5.
Yeah.
They could do like the 4-man front.
That's a lot more used in the NFL than
Tommy just put that in the chat. We'll give him love. Josh was saying, let me elaborate, JV. The offense is fire, but for me, the defense is missing a game changer superstar. Nobody's going to push back on that. I think your best players defensively that are proven are in the secondary. They do not have a bona fide stud DT edge rusher yet, but give them time. You can't fix every need in one offseason.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement, though, about Darius Robinson. Let's take a look at their 3-4 nickel package because they like to run out that nickel DB who played really well down the stretch in Garrett Williams. Which one is this?
We got a depth one there.
I will say that one thing Damon did point out. Damon, if you want to put the other one back up there, because this was an interesting point that you made. Look, if you look at our little key here, the new additions, a lot of new additions on this defense from your entire defensive front. I mean, and at every level.
That was necessary, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only way you're going to improve is
your 2 starting corners and your entire defensive line is brand new, and people are bitching that you didn't also add an edge rusher. I mean, like Kazir White, Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson are the only thing that I think people felt good about bringing back this year.
Yeah, let's see that nickel defense now. So this is a 3-4 nickel. You get Garrett Williams on the field, but like you're gonna have. I think you got guys, as Baldy said yesterday, Rabbit. Taylor Demerson is going to vie for playing time. Like all NFL teams are trying to get a third safety on the field. I think Garrett Williams does fit that profile. He's big enough, but like you've got depth in Rabbit and then also Elijah Jones on the outside. They just finally added some depth. Like guys are going to have to emerge. Like for people like Joshua who aren't convinced, like players are going to have to emerge. They're going to have to, like from Melton to Jones to some of the guys they brought in last year, like Garrett Williams, they need to pop. And then, of course, you need just way better play up front, which I think they'll get.
You know, I look at this, every graphic, every chart says the same thing to me. Justin Jones needs to be good for this team. Like they signed him to a 3-year contract. Depending on who you talk to in Chicago, like people liked him. He had 5 sacks last year, but he was never like a dominant player. He's a solid to good player. I like Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis need to get the best version of Justin Jones for this defense to be formidable. Because I love Darius Robinson. I don't want to put a lot on a rookie again. And I know Dante Steele's different circumstance, 6th rounder, but the Cardinal, like Darius Robinson should be able to come into a room and there be 1 to 2 quality vets around him to help him elevate his game. I don't want everything on the 27th overall pick. Justin Jones needs to perform for this team because what happened last year? LJ Collier made it 2 weeks and was gone, right? The mid defensive line that they had last year, the below average group that they started camp with was gone by October.
Right.
So can Justin Jones play 17 games, give you 5 to 6 sacks and be a consistent, starter with a couple game changing plays? That would be a huge development for this team. That's exactly what they need.
Man, I mean, I think he can consistently be there, but as far as getting the production, I think that if you talk to Bears fans, and I know we just mentioned how sometimes delusional they are, but
we talked to our CHGO friends.
Yeah. And they see the $30 million contract and they're kind of like, whoa, you gave Justin Jones $30 million, but like, that's what you do in free agencies. You pay a premium price for not exactly premium talent, but what they were looking for, as you mentioned, like Collier goes down week 1 against Washington, and it just you start to see injuries to Ledbetter. You see injury to Carlos Watkins. You see injuries to across the entire defensive front outside of Dante Stills until the end of the season. And it's just a revolving door where Jones and Bilal Nichols, they haven't missed a game in 2 and 4 years respectively, which is what they need. Because if you get that consistent play from those guys, and then you let Darius Robinson come in his rookie year and play close to 60% of the snaps, he's going to be really productive. He's going to be your ass kicker.
You would love to fast forward to December, January, and Darius Robinson is trending up and is like Paris last year, your best player peaking at the end of the season that happened to be a 1st-round pick. The edge class, the DT class next year is fantastic. They're going to dabble in that. They'll look in free agency. They want to be like Philadelphia. We mentioned it, where they just add line of scrimmage players every single April. But they had to also, the base was empty. The cupboard, you had to go get some groceries. You had to go and supplement, right? Yeah. But I do feel like they were more attentive to it than last offseason. I do think, and listen, they were trying to strip this puppy down. They were not aggressive enough last year on the defensive line. And it cost them. I mean, they were not competitive in a lot of games. I think they could have won potentially because they kick the can down the road. So this defense, to me, if you're not ingratiated with what JG and Ross wanted to do, if you didn't watch the team battle last year, you probably think this defense has some of the worst personnel in the NFL. But then you know what they had to overcome last year and how much they've added, Bo. And you look at the names in this draft class, and it's like, this is just a big bag of tricks, a big bag of toys for Rollis and Gannon.
Yeah. I'm looking at they surrendered the second most points in the NFL last year. They gave up 26.8 points per game, and scoring was down, so that was a little bit higher.
I was about to say, it felt like more than that.
Yeah, it did. And they were able to, overcome their shortcomings as far as the defensive personnel.
Yeah.
I think that the points for, and it went up towards the end of last season, obviously with the return of Kyler Murray. I mean, I think that this offense, is it unfair to say that they're going to be at least a touchdown better scoring this year? No. I mean, if they're just
what they average last
19
year?
19.5.
If they're not in the mid-20s, is a huge failure. It was Dobbs last year. Dobbs and Amari DiMercato for like 4 weeks, respectfully. Trey McBride was out there by himself. Michael Wilson missed some time. Hollywood Brown was never healthy. They wouldn't play Dortch enough. Like Rondale Moore and Dobbs and DiMercato were your batteries some games. We've come a long way. Yes, they will. If they don't score 25 points per game this year, it's an indictment on Drew Petzing. But when a team's bread and butter is running the football, guess what? That travels every week. That travels on the road,
and it helps your defense. It helps your defense
100%
on the sideline.
And unlike Cliff Kingsbury's offense, I think it's drought proof. It's what do you call it? Not bust proof, but whatever. Slump. You get into a position where
slump proof.
Yeah, slump proof. Like it's always going to be there. It's their identity, thankfully.
They do need with this defense and with better defensive line play. We've said it a couple times this week, but they need BJ Ojulari. They need Zaven Collins to emerge in the pass rush. They do. And they need.
It's not going to be any worse.
Right.